They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. You know, just a everyday day in America. No problems. Nothing's wrong. It's all smooth and easy. People are good. Government can be trusted. Taxes are low. Bullshit, right? It is awful out there what is happening. And we're going to talk about some of it. And, of course, why you should be prepared. The number one reason to come to the channel. I'm not that entertaining. So there's got to be another reason why thousands of people every week come here and join us and talk about what's happening. It's because it has hit the fan, folks. It has absolutely hit the fan. I'm going to do my thing. It is Monday Madness, definitely Monday Madness. So get your questions down below. There's a lot going on. Of course, the number one news is the second Trump assassination attempt. But there's other news out there, including, let's see, birds, cats, and dogs being eaten everywhere. But there's something. It is the deep state that is the big problem here. We'll get to that, though. We will. The deep state. Let's go with this, though. Let's start off with Gretchen the Climate Grinch, the little climate hoax, the little snotty brat from Sweden, Greta Thunberg. And she has been named the anti-Semite of the week. Isn't that great? An advocacy group gave her the award. Folks, just understand that racial, political, and religious hatred is the socialist way. They want a socialist revolution, and they do that by making people hate other people to divide our country. We used to love Americans. Now half the country hates Americans. People used to love their country. Half the country hates the United States of America. We used to be proud of our country. Half the country now hates and is not proud of the country. I don't know why the hell they stay here when they could go live somewhere else. Anyways, socialist folks, whether they're in America or Europe, they're all scum. They really are. Trust me. Go find one. Get one to admit it, and then find out who they are on the inside. They'll tell you. They'll let you know. Anyways, get your questions down below. We got a lot to talk about, folks. But the question I have is, can we make it through? Can we make it through all of this mess and get to the other side and be free? I don't know. But let's do this. I want to start talking about the assassination. I can't stay away from this today. It is huge. But I want to tie the deep state to it. Yeah, the deep state. It's a cadre of patriots in Washington, D.C. who are trying to protect the Constitution and the president and that bullshit. In fact, after Ryan Ruth, the would-be assassin of Trump, after he was arrested, the local sheriff has a question. He says, is this guy part of a conspiracy? And I'll tell him right now, Mr. Sheriff, yes, he is. The FBI, CIA, Department of Homeland Security are part of this conspiracy, and there may be one or two Democrats, little socialists, just buried and snuggled on in the Secret Service. I wonder who it was that was out front, because we all learned in the first assassination attempt that there was a small detail of Secret Service, but Trump also had private security. Well, he was playing golf. Just days after Kamala Trump antagonized her supporters and again chided them and said that we have to get rid of Trump. He's a threat. Well, folks, this is getting stupid. It's getting stupid. I wonder if it was private security that was walking ahead of the president along the golf course and spotted this guy. I'll tell you right now, if Trump does not get better protection, he is a dead man. I don't want him dead. I want him to beat Kamala. If any of these people that were shooting at Trump were trained, professional shooters, serious sportsmen, they could hit him. There's no reason this guy should have been caught except he's an absolute moron. Hanging his backpack and another bag on the fence, as well as his GoPro. He wanted to film himself shooting or film Trump getting shot at. Unbelievable. Who does he think was really gonna watch that video? Oh, it's interesting. I'm sure it would have leaked out if he had gotten the opportunity. But let's just say this, folks, an actual sniper, right? Someone who is hiding or laying in wait and shooting their political or military opponent is a sniper. Doesn't mean it has to be 1,000 yards or more to be a sniper. He just needed to be there lying in wait. If he had been camouflaged, covered in leaves and sticks or pine needles or a combination of all those things, even a basic ghillie suit, no one would ever see. He'd been laying there approximately 12 hours. And a lot of people are asking the same question. How did he get in a shootout with the private security or Secret Service and then manage to run away, get in his car, and get down the highway for 7 to 10 minutes before he was captured? So the sheriff asks, is this guy part of a conspiracy? I think that's a fine question. Who has been saying Trump is a problem and Trump supporters? That would be Kamala Harris. That would be Joe Biden. Well, months ago when Joe Biden thought he was going to be the Führer forever, it's been Democrat senators and Democrat congressmen. It has been the mainstream media. It has been mainstream media guests that have been calling Trump a threat to America, a threat to democracy. They've been calling him Hitler, KKK, white supremacist, Nazi. They've been calling for violence and getting in his face. One congressman, Dan, I think Goldman was his name, Jewish congressman, saying that Trump needs to be eliminated. Folks, eliminated is removed, deleted, killed. Defeated is how you deal with someone in politics and an election. You defeat them. You don't eliminate them. But I guess maybe we all start using the word eliminated. I plan on eliminating all the communists I can because, elimination is friendly. Well, this fucking clown was on mainstream media saying Trump needs to be eliminated. How is that not a threat? Right? How is that not a threat? Now, former scumbag congressman, the Democrat who said he was a Republican, Adam Klitstinger, he's blaming Trump and he's blaming Make America Great Again, right? For the reason there was a second assassination attempt. Now, we've got this from many people in the media, people in the print media, politicians, pundits, big mouths. They're saying Trump is to blame. All of his rhetoric is driving Democrats so crazy they want to kill him. And so they're trying. Now, folks, you and I know that Trump triggers them, that the memes trigger them, make them angry, drive them crazy. But does that mean you have to go shoot him? Right? So if Trump is responsible for assassins trying to kill him, are rape victims to blame because someone decided to rape them? Are blacks to blame for causing the KKK to come about? The Holocaust happened. Is that the Jews' own fault as a people? You see, faulty logic does not work well. It just doesn't. It doesn't. You don't blame rape victims for being raped, right? But you do say, don't be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Trump is not to blame for the assassination attempt, but if he gets hit, it's going to be because somebody allowed it, or he's just not being careful enough. And I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm not wishing for it. I want him to be more fucking careful. I don't know how to go about doing it. Is he going to have to give up golf? Well, that's terrible. Is he going to have to be careful in public speeches and appearances? Yeah, but he was on a private golf course. Private. And it was a last minute or unannounced golf game. But somehow the media was there filming it. Again, somehow this guy knew to show up in the middle of the night so he could get into position like a moron. Right? He waited 12 hours for his shot at Trump, not knowing unless somebody told him. An insider, a deep state mole is inside Trump's security detail, either private or Secret Service, decided they're going to take a shot at him by, well, telling a ding-dong who has CIA connections. That's right, folks. The shooter this time associated with all kinds of trouble. Apparently, he's a convicted criminal as well. So how did he get a rifle? Oh, by the way, the rifle had the numbers, the serial numbers, etched, scratched, drilled, ground, sanded off. And his truck had stolen license plates on it. Seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Seems absolutely ridiculous. So remember, if you're assassinated, it's your fault. Just like if you're black, the KKK existing is your fault. Ridiculous. Just fucking ridiculous. But there's more. Let's get your questions down below, if we shall, because it's going to be your turn very soon. Now, I remember that Dick Cheney was called every name in the book as he sat as vice president to George W. Bush. They called him evil. They called him a war criminal. They called him Hitler. They called him all kinds of names. But now Dick Cheney has Democrats and the media defending him. This is 100% proof, folks, that politics, and especially Washington, D.C. politics, are about the globalist agenda. Think about it. If Democrats were for the workers, right? The working man is who the Democrats are for. That's how I was raised when I grew up. I kept being told Democrats are for the working man. Really? Really? Do you see any evidence that Democrats in office are helping the working man? Cost of a gallon of gas, cost of a loaf of bread, cost of a gallon of milk, a dozen eggs, a pound of hamburger. Everything is through the roof. How is that for the working man? But we are in the twilight zone, folks, where they'll tell you 100%, 200% inflation is good for you. It's good, right? You're in the twilight zone when Dick Cheney is now lauded and loved and applauded by Democrats. Crazy business. Isn't it interesting, though? Let's see. Dick Cheney went hunting with somebody, shot him in the face. Dick Cheney is now beloved of the Democrats, and someone else has decided to shoot at Trump. I don't know if those two things go together. I just think it's funny. Dick Cheney and assassinations. Crazy. It just is crazy, folks. Now, I want to bring this up. Remember when the young man who first took a shot at President Trump? He was identified and he was in a BlackRock investment, right? The finance investment company BlackRock. The first shooter, he was in a BlackRock TV commercial. Well, guess what? The second shooter, the second attempt, the second assassin was also in a BlackRock TV commercial. Could you see some sort of CIA mind control, or are they just patsies, actors who are put in position and told to play a part. Right? BlackRock also, folks, has a huge investment in Ukraine. Through their business dealings, they want to own and keep and hold and benefit and profit from Ukraine. And they do not, BlackRock, they do not like Trump saying he is going to end the war over there. So the second shooter is also associated with BlackRock. Folks, I don't have to write conspiracy theories. I don't have to work on them to make them up. We just watch what is happening with politics, and these conspiracy theories just present themselves. Unbelievable. What a coincidence. Because, coincidences happen all the time. Woo! I tell you, there's more on this. What do you want to talk about? What did you say? Oh, by the way, right, this second assassination attempt is to try and get us to not pay attention to the first assassination attempt. Right, Senator Blumenthal, I think Senator Cotton, Senator Hawley, other senators in Congress are saying the Secret Service fuck up in Butler County, Pennsylvania is amazing. Right? We still haven't heard the final disposition of the 5 FBI agents who were suspended for their participation or involvement in the first Trump assassination. First Trump assassination. We don't know what happened to them, but remember, folks, let's see. Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, all were shot once, just one time. Well, actually, Kennedy was shot multiple times. An assassination event. How's that? But Trump has been shot not once, but twice. Not once, but twice. Never has a president been shot twice. That's pretty serious, don't you think? Unfucking believable. And what is the Secret Service doing about it? Hiding. They're not wanting to say a word. How did this happen? Who leaked the information? Who in the deep state is responsible for this? Is it James Comey? Is it Chris Wray? Is it Ruby Rod Rosenstein? Is it former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Milli Vanilli, wannabe general? Right? How many people wanted to kill Trump in government? Hillary Clinton, Obama? A lot of people, right? When you start asking who wants him dead, you look at the entire political spectrum out there. The group of people who don't want him killed is a much smaller group. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. The sheriff I was telling you about down there, Martin County, the sheriff is doubting. He's questioning whether this was a lone gunman or if there's a larger conspiracy to take out President Trump. This is exactly what he said, folks. How does a guy not from here get all the way to Trump International, realize that the former president is golfing there, and gets a rifle in that vicinity? Right? Yeah, how did he find out about the golf tee time so he could get there early, coming all the way from North Carolina? We have some serious questions that need to be asked. Serious questions that need to be asked. But, it is Trump's fault. And blacks are responsible for the Ku Klux Klan. And women are responsible 100% when they get raped. And Trump needs to tone down their rhetoric. That's a quote. Tone down their rhetoric. That's what MSNBC is saying. This MSNBC idiot wants there to be massive calls from the media and from the government to tell Trump to tone down their rhetoric, because the second attempt at him, second assassination in 2 months. It's funny how on the one hand, mainstream media is not covering it. They're not calling it an assassination attempt. But as soon as it fits their model, they'll come out and say, oh, yeah. Trump needs to tone down the rhetoric. Why? Oh, this is from Ooh Man, and it's an MSN bullshit BS headline. Here's the quote, folks. Trump fans, political flames after latest apparent assassination attempt. Trump fans the flames like he's blowing air on it to make the flames bigger after the assassination attempt. Ooman calls them douche nozzles. I think he's a nice guy, Mr. Ooman, calling him something so friendly as that. Trump says, you know what? I'm not backing down. I'm not quitting. I'm not going away. Is that fanning the flames? Does Trump have cause, justification, viable reason to say and talk about what's going on? I would think so. I would think so, really. I mean, get this. Fucking guy shows up in the middle of the night with a rifle that has the serial numbers ground or sanded off of them. He stole some license plates on his truck to get there because someone told him inside the government, get your ass down there because Trump will be playing tomorrow. We need you in position to shoot him. And I love how the media is saying he we don't know what his political ideology is. We don't know. It's confusing. We don't know what his political ideology is. Well, he's got a fucking Kamala Harris Biden bumper sticker on his truck. He's contributed money to the Democrats 19 times. He's gone over to Ukraine trying to recruit mercenaries to fight for the Biden administration against Putin. I wonder what side he's on. So they've got this clown. Florida needs to do their own investigation. Committing the crime inside Florida, well, that's a crime in Florida. And I think Florida, the Florida Bureau of Investigation, is that the FBI? They need to be investigating and holding their own investigation and their own trial. But they've already gone to court, and there's 2 charges against the man, but neither of them are for trying to kill Trump, for being there to assassinate him. Shows up in the middle of the night, has stolen plates, a stolen gun or a gun that's had the serial numbers ground off of it, sleeps in the bushes waiting for Trump to come along, and he's not there to assassinate. So, I mean, here's another question. Let's start asking questions. So he has to shoot at Trump before he is tried for attempted assassination. So let's just say you're in a confrontation with a law enforcement officer. The law enforcement officer cannot shoot at you until you pull the trigger once. Right? The moment you brandish a weapon and point it at a cop, he can't shoot you. Is that it? You're not trying to shoot. You're not threatening to shoot the president. I'm sorry, the cop, because you haven't pulled the trigger yet and the cop can't do anything. It's ridiculous, right? It makes no fucking sense. A shooter has to shoot first before police can shoot to kill in defense. No, you see someone with a gun hiding in the bushes, waiting for the next person to come along who just happens to be President Trump. It's pretty obvious why he's there, but the media, they don't want you to know that. It's all bullshit, folks. It truly is. It's all bullshit, but it's going to get worse. It really is. It's going to get worse. All right. I just got a couple of messages here from one of you guys. Crazy business. Absolutely crazy business. Are you guys ready? Everything you see on TV is fake. Chin Music sent a video where other Democrats talk down and treat Kamala like she's a fucking retard. Her own party members treat her like shit. Chuck Schumer basically giving her the shut up and step back hand motion. They don't really respect her. She is a puppet. She is an actor. She is a whore. And it was Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi who put her in the position. Remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said, Biden, step down. And we're taking Kamala to the top. I guess they were thinking they were going to play the woman race card and it was going to work. A lot of people doubt she's a woman. I don't. I think she's a woman. But black? I don't think so. I've seen pictures of her mom. And that wasn't pretty either. But here we are, folks. 2024. We're coming into the election, and it is nuts out there. Absolutely nuts. Now, interestingly, Joe Biden came out of, I think, the White House. And it was interesting, right? He walked up to a bunch of the people, a bunch of press members, and said, hey, the president is fine. It's just kind of interesting that he would refer to Trump as the president. Oh, boy, I tell you, folks. Well, I didn't want to make you think this is all going to be about the assassination. I want you to know that Twinkle Toes, Tampon Timmy Walls, vice presidential candidate with Kamala Harris, was asked what he was going to do to fix the economy. He was asked about a specific plan to make groceries and gas cheaper. And so Twinkle Toes Tampon Timmy said, we're getting at the heart of this climate change. Because climate change is making gas more expensive and groceries more expensive. They don't have a plan, folks. They don't have a platform. They don't have policies. All they have is hyperbole, talking points, and sound bites. Unbelievable, folks. Now, Trump is pretty direct when he speaks. I think that's one of the things that really you can draw a distinction between him and the others. Anyways, he is blaming Comrade Kamala Harris. That's what he called her. Comrade Kamala Harris. And the shit-stained mainstream media for this assassination attempt. This is his quote. Because of this communist left rhetoric, the bullets are flying. Question I have for you, is Trump wrong? Once again, this is what he said. Because of this communist left rhetoric, the bullets are flying. Do you think he's wrong? Well, in any other era, just talking shit or trash, slinging mud is an old term we used to use. Mudslinging didn't cause people to try and assassinate anyone in politics. Lincoln was assassinated by a Democrat, John Wilkes Booth, because of the Civil War. It was political. Teddy Roosevelt was challenging the mainstream two-party political system, and he took a bullet. JFK, the lone Democrat that's been shot at, well, he was challenging the establishment. He was. It wasn't a person off the street, a nobody. Right? The assassination attempt of Reagan, they tried saying that John Hinckley Jr. was a nobody. But his brother that very night was eating dinner with the vice president, George H.W. Bush. That's a strange coincidence, don't you think? The brother of the assassin who just shot the president is having dinner with the vice president. How strange is that? Woo! I tell you, I'm telling you, it's crazy business, folks. Crazy business. And Twinkle Toes Timmy Walls, thank you for that picture, Chin Music. His wife decided to join the campaign, and she is an absolute batshit crazy lunatic. Find her on the internet, whether it's on X or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, it doesn't matter. Look at her eyes. You can tell she's heavily medicated and she's lost her shit. Crazy business, folks. Crazy business. Well, I've done my monologue. There's a lot more to talk about, folks. A lot more to talk about, but I want to know what you have in mind. Let's do it. Let's go to the inner circle with you guys. And I'm going to use the bullet transition, a peaceful bullet, a mostly peaceful bullet, not aimed at anybody. And yes, we are live. If you are on thepreparedmind.club, our website, you sign up there for premium services, $2 a month. Super easy. Subscribestar, $2 a month. Subscribestar.com. You go there, you find the Prepared Mind, and you can come here live Monday through Friday, and you get to ask the questions. You get to set the tone. And so let's do it. Mr. Uman, we've got questions all lined up. Who's up first? Uman gets to pick. And it's Chin Music. He says, second breakdown of the medium perimeter. Ron Rose should be out on his ass. He's talking about the Secret Service head now. I can't argue with you, Chin. When Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, when he goes golfing, do you know what the Secret Service does? He is a former president of the United States. He has full Secret Service detail. When he is out golfing, everybody on the course, they're searched for guns. Every car searched for guns. Everyone and everything is screened. No Republican, no right-wing radical, no militia members, no patriots, no veterans have ever shot at Obama. Ever. Ever. Do you think a trained soldier from the U.S. Army or a trained Marine, do you think if they really wanted to kill Obama, that it could be done? How hard do you think it would be to try and get his advanced itinerary to some degree, where he's going to be, when he's going to be home, finding out what his favorite golf course would be, not leaving your car in a parking lot, going into the woods somewhere around, sneaking in, keeping yourself camouflaged, and waiting for your chance? How hard would that be? A simple little backpack. And I lived in the jungle on the food in a simple little backpack for 2 weeks. It wasn't the most delicious. It wasn't the best nutrition. But if you knew in the next 2 weeks Barack Obama was going to be golfing, how hard would that be to set yourself up? Not hanging your shit up on a fucking fence, right? It's ridiculous. So, I mean, I don't expect them to be perfect, but for fuck's sake. Right now, what I do appreciate, Chin Music, was the fact that he didn't get a shot off directly at Trump. That there ended up being an exchange of gunfire, right, between him and either the private security detail or the Secret Service. And all they say is Secret Service. We're not, maybe we're not supposed to know who is Secret Service and who is private security detail. It's nasty business, folks. I think the entire Secret Service, the leadership, they should be thrown out. The same way I believe Christopher Wray and the entire, shall we say, upper management of the FBI, they should be thrown out. I think the CIA should be absolutely shuttered and shut down and splintered and send all agents home. What have they done? What does the CIA do? The Central Intelligence Agency has agents around the world in countries where there is wealth. And so the United States Secret Service, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, wants to make sure that they control everything. So their agents are in place. They always try and foment revolution and put their own leadership in place. That's all they do. Political assassinations, political intrigue, interfering in elections, stealing elections, orchestrating coup d'etat. Do we really need a government organization that's their primary role? Well, you could say, but it's for national security, John. Well, that's the excuse they use for everything, right? Even jackass Steny Hoyer was trying to say that the deep state is a cadre of patriotic government workers trying to fuck everyone over, but they're patriotic. Not buying it. Not buying it. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Chin Music. Oh, man. What do we have? Who is up next? We got Name Redacted, who has redacted his name. And he says, if memory serves me correctly, Big Orange, who is Trump, could have former top-tier operators for security and counter snipers for about $1 million a month. He can afford it. I believe he can afford it, and I think it's worth it. Listen, Donald Trump Jr. is dropping the F-bomb in his tweets. He's pissed off that all of this left-wing rhetoric, hate-filled spewing crap is inciting left-wing idiots to violence. But if the if the left wanted, they could have socialist snipers, socialist operators take a shot at Trump. But see, if they do that, it'll appear prima facie, on its face, however you want to say it, that Kamala Harris and the government did it. So that's why they're trying to get no-name patsies out there to do their dirty work. But counter snippers, snipers for about $1 million a month. I don't know what he's paying for his service, but on the internet now, there are active duty, nope, let me take that back. I apologize. Former military, combat experienced veterans who say they will volunteer for free to protect Trump. And, I think he should take them up on it. I think his entire property there at Mar-a-Lago should be surrounded by, shall we say, crazed, patriotic veterans with fully automatic weapons. Why not? If you can take a bunch of men, train them for a few months, and then send them to Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, the Middle East, down into deep, dark Africa, the islands of the Pacific, and trust them there with rifles that are fully automatic, ammunition, grenades, rocket launchers, missile systems, mortars, artillery. We can trust them there, but we can't trust them with President Trump. Tell you what, I don't think it would be a bad idea. Now, how do you vet them? How do you ensure they're not lunatics that are suffering from PTSD and they're going to go off in the middle of the night? Yeah, I know it. Look, that's why you want trained professionals. They're supposed to be professional, be trained for this sort of thing. But we're not seeing much of that. We're seeing a lot of amateur hour shit. A lot of amateur hour. Fucking Secret Service woman couldn't even holster her weapon. I guess she was just really nervous and had never pulled her weapon in the, in a time of need and, in duty. Yeah, it's still not acceptable. Still not acceptable. So, yeah, top tier operator, says Name Redacted. Well, I think you might be right. Let's see what Trump does next. I just do not want him hit, much less badly injured, critically wounded, or dead. But the left sure does. In fact, Alexander Vindiman, the Ukrainian immigrant sack of shit, piece of crap, low-life, whale turd who became an officer in the U.S. Army, who falsely testified against Trump in an effort to paint him badly so that the impeachment, his first impeachment, could happen. Vindiman's wife made a nasty, ridiculous comment about the Trump assassination attempt. She said something like, no ears have been harmed, so go about your Sunday afternoon as if it's normal. Something like that. You know, she wanted to weigh in with it. Well, he's trying to take it back, but too late, bitch. Right? Hey, I'm not perfect. I say all kinds of crazy, rude shit, don't I? Fuck them. They're communists. In the world that I would have, communists would be hunted like feral hogs because they're communists. And they will hunt and kill everyone else if they get full power. Folks, Kamala is a Marxist fascist piece of shit. A Marxist fascist piece of shit. Someone out there in the 1800s took Karl Marx's work and said, wait a minute, we're rich. We don't want to give our money up and our power. So why don't we give government absolute authority over everyone except the rich people, and they have to work with us so that we get rich off of what they do, but the people get fucked over. Let's do fascism instead of Marxism, or socialist Marxism, or communist Marxism. Fascism, folks, and communism are that close. They are ugly twin sisters. Woo! Thank you, name redacted. Mr. Ooman, who is up next? We got drum roll. It is Mikey G. And he says, Trump's daily was not published. His daily what? His daily movement, right? His daily plan, his itinerary was not published. No, it wasn't. Was not. So how did this guy know to be at the golf course? Or was he there? Uh-oh. Chin says, one of my buddies works at his course, Trump's course, and his schedule is predictable when he's in town. That's interesting. That's interesting. Like I said, if you knew Barack Obama was back at his place at one of his 4 mansions, guy who's never had a private sector job in his life, has 4 multiple $1 million mansions, one of them right on the fucking ocean. Yeah. Anyways, if you knew he was at one of them, and you knew Obama liked to golf, because he does, all you would have to do is go to the golf course and wait a matter of days. Wait a matter of days. Predictable or not, you just have to be patient, willing, and trained. Patient, willing, and trained. I'm not going to show him how to do it. That's not my job. It's not my job. A predictable schedule is not best practices for security's sake. I'm going to agree with you, Uman. I think that it's a very poor move on Trump to continue to be super predictable. There should be a number of golf courses that he could play on, right? And maybe there are. Maybe he has 6 or 8 or 12 golf courses. Well, I don't know. Because I don't pay attention. I'm not trying to assassinate Trump, and I'm not trying to show up for an autograph either. But look out, right? Best practices, they need to step that up. Let's ask this question. Does Trump's security detail, do they make recommendations like that? Let's get some variety in there, Mr. President. Let's have you play somewhere else. Or is Trump so arrogant, he's like, you know what? I'm going to play where I want. Fuck him. Right? There is a responsibility on his part to not get himself shot. But let's just leave Trump out of this. What happens if one of these assassins decides they're going to shoot Barron Trump, Trump's youngest son, his son with Melania? What would Trump's reaction be then? What about Donald Trump Jr., right? Trump's oldest son. What if they assassinate him? What will Trump's reaction be to that? Ask yourself that. Would Trump lose his shit? Would he be more careful? He's already promised he's going to arrest those who are committing election fraud and election interference and voter fraud. Has he threatened? Is he promising that he's going to arrest all the illegal people who have messed around with the campaign? The people at ABC News who offered, questions and allowed her to participate in the debate as if it was fair when it truly wasn't? Will Trump go after the criminals in Congress and people, the deep state criminals like Alexander Vindman, a complete sack of traitorous shit? Same with Obama. Same with Kamala. Oh, I think she's a traitor. And Biden and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Is he going to go after them? Is he going to get a attorney general with real balls? I mean, they're going after Trump for not being as honest as they would like with his loan request that was approved and he paid back with interest. Right? They're trying to prosecute him for everything and anything. These people are trying to destroy our country, literally, intentionally. Wild business. Thank you all, guys. That's some really good observations. I enjoyed thinking about them all. I really do. What is going on, folks? What the fuck is going on? Really, what is going on? Mr. Uman, who is up next? We've got Red Arrow Tinker. And she says he was there to get rid of the golfers on the golf course. I want you to go out and kill all the golfers. It was a line from Caddyshack when the Scottish greens master told Bill Murray to kill the golfers. And he meant gophers, right? Yeah. Well, if he had done that, Red Arrow Tinker, he wouldn't use an AK. He would have used dynamite, C4. Caddyshack, folks. You want to find out how to take Trump out? Watch the movie Caddyshack. Actually, in the movie, Bill Murray did use a rifle to try and kill the gopher. It was a hilarious movie. But, the real life right now is incredible. It's like a parody of what real world should be like. The movie Idiocracy was a ridiculous comedy when it was released, and now it's a fucking documentary about Democrats. Idiocracy. Anyways, golfers. We're going to kill the golfers. Okay. Thank you, Red Arrow Tinker. Oh, my goodness. That's some funny shit there. Mr. Uman, who's up next? What do we want to talk about? What's on your mind? It's your guys' show, even Monday through Friday, and it is Chin Music again. And he says this of Democrats: they're ashamed of nothing and they're offended by everything. That is incredible. It is absolutely true. They're ashamed of nothing. You can't shame them. Are they ashamed of being baby killers? No, they love it. Are they ashamed of inviting in millions of illegals? No, they love it. They think it's great. Are they ashamed that they're bringing in fentanyl and Americans are dying? No. Okay, Uman. They're not ashamed of anything they're doing. The drugs, the crime, the pets being eaten. They're still trying to lie and say the pets aren't being eaten. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. I love that song. They're not ashamed of anything. They're not ashamed that one of their own or two of their own have taken an actual effort to try and assassinate Trump. They're not ashamed of that, but they're offended by everything. Don't you dare call a burning piece of wood a faggot. Don't you dare call anyone by what they are, right? Well, that's racist to bring up stereotypes. No? Why is it they're allowed to pick on white people, middle-aged men, Christians? And Chin Music calls them maggots. I'm going to have to agree with that one. Mr. Uman, I would like to do your breaking news that you found out there. What is on your mind? And get this. Oh, the reports of a major natural gas pipeline fire erupting in La Porte near Houston after a vehicle truck hit a valve. After a vehicle struck a valve, not truck a valve. Whoops. Cause is under investigation. Sounds like a vehicle struck a valve. There's your cause. Look at that right here. We just solved the great mystery, the Scooby-Doo crowd. Well, I'll tell you what. I saw the headlines for that. Big, giant, gaseous ball of flame going up in the air. It's amazing. That was an accident. A simple accident. And they can cause that much damage. Imagine if a terrorist wanted to cause trouble, wanted to cause difficulty, pain, suffering for people. Wouldn't be hard, would it? Wouldn't be hard. And now I'm going to give you my news updates. Over in jolly old England, the BBC News anchor Hugh Edwards, guess what he did not go to prison for? He did not go to prison for buying child porn, having it on his phone, showing illicit sexual acts with children under 10. Did not going to jail. It's a disgrace. It's an outrage. It is disgusting. It is horrible. And that's the political socialists out there, folks. Now, President Trump has decided that he's going to release a little bit of information. And so he has a list of every single Democrat and every single enabler who has used violent language against Trump and against you and me. And he's saying that this has led to another assassination attempt. It's kind of hard to argue against that. What else is causing these left-wing idiots to go nuts? You and I say they have Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. And they just need to see a Trump yard sign and they lose their shit. In fact, I watched a video today. A mom on her bike and her son on a scooter. And she's a good mom. Her son was wearing a helmet in case he fell down, he wouldn't hurt his little head. Well, his head is already seriously injured. The little boy stopped. There was an American flag poked into the grass. American flag, probably 8 inches by 12 inches big. Just a cute little yard flag. The boy went over and pulled it out and then threw it on the ground. Kid has no idea what the American flag is. It's a symbol of our nation, of the union of 50 states bound together for mutual protection and mutual benefit. When we are not being mutually protected and benefiting from the United States government in Washington, D.C., I think we ought to be able to dissolve it. Secede. Democrats are teaching their kids this, folks. That's why I said the boy is brain damaged. He doesn't even know what the flag is, much less what it stands for and what has been done to protect the flag, the country, and his dumb little ass. And his whore spit of a mother stopped on her bike and watched him do it and probably praised him for it. All captured on Ring doorbell camera, folks. Let's hear it for technology, right? Let's hear it for technology. Oh, yeah. Oh, folks, don't forget the Jim Jones juice. Disneyland in California had a half marathon, not a full 26-mile marathon, but a half marathon. And the Jim Jones juice, well, it may have struck again, right? You need to take a wild guess, do you not? Let's do it. Let's go to the Pfizer files and take a wild guess. Well, marathon runners, in order to be able to run that far, you've got to practice. You've got to be in good shape. You've got to exercise. You've got to eat right. But it's got to be the heat that killed a runner, a 33-year-old man died of a heart attack. He was a long-distance runner, an experienced long-distance runner. He's not 54 like me. He's not 44. He was 33. You could say 33-year young man. Heart attack from running a stupid half marathon. Folks, I ran half of half marathons wearing combat boots, literally. Miles and miles and miles wearing fucking combat boots. Don't you think a professional runner wearing cute little sneakers could do it without keeling over and literally dying? It's out there. It's still happening. Oh, and U.S. senators. Yeah, it's global warming again, not the Jim Jones juice. Absolutely right, man. It's global warming. Twinkle Toes Timmy, he's right. We need to fix global warming so that people don't die and food prices can come down and gas will be cheaper and guns will be gone and faggots will have lots of children sitting around on their knees all day. Yeah, folks, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I really don't. But what are you going to do? Thank you very much for that, Darcy T. Appreciate it. And folks, it's not going to get better. It's going to continue to be what it is. Just an outrage. Everything is an outrage. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to scroll through the news items. And is our country better or worse because of, well, people being intelligent, educated? Well, you know, it's kind of hard to know. Oregon, the governor of Oregon, folks, says that, well, they need to remove reading, writing, and math so that students of color are helped to graduate. This would be Governor Brown. She's a complete tart, looks like a retarded librarian, and she's pandering and putting down black people because students of color can't pass on their own, so you have to get rid of requirements. What's a requirement? Reading at a certain level, writing at a certain level, being able to do math at a very basic level. That's all you need to get through high school, but they want to get rid of that. And so they're putting down, once again, black people, saying they can't do it. They can't do it. Crazy, folks. What a day. It is Monday. It's not going to get better, folks. It's going to get worse. Are you prepared? Let's move on to this real quick. Bomb threats in Ohio. Bomb threats. The governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, who is a rhino sack of shit, he says that the threats are coming from overseas. How the hell would anyone overseas know how to get a hold of and make threats in freaking Springfield, Ohio? Right? Crazy. I wonder also, is anyone ever going to apologize, Trump, for all these false accusations? Oh, man, do we have another question, comment, or thought on the way out the door? Let's do it. Who's up next? We got Bioxo77, and he says, I heard the guy was arrested for having a weapon of mass destruction. How is he not in jail and traveling all over the country and recruiting people for the war in Ukraine? That's right. A civilian moron, today's or yesterday's attempted Trump assassin, was formerly arrested for having a real weapon of mass destruction. Yet he's not in jail. He's working for the CIA, recruiting people and trying to foment wars and encourage people to sacrifice themselves for the CIA over in Ukraine. I wonder if the people who have volunteered to fight for Ukraine have gotten over there and realized what a fucking bad decision that was. I wonder if they see who it is they're fighting for. It's not the Ukrainian people. No, it's for Zelensky and his sponsors. All right, folks, I'm going to call it a day. We are done for now. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. God bless America. Pray for Trump that he doesn't get his head blasted off. Woo! Semper Fi, and I'll see you guys all 0 dark 30.